Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Josh Mansfield, a teacher with the Demon, and with me is Nathan Fox, one of the founders of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Our email, Nate, comes from Eve, who actually emailed in a couple of weeks ago, episode 1233. Eve is PTing in the 170s, asked about ignoring the clock, and in the preamble to this question, she shared that she is not applying for this cycle and gave thanks for the encouragement.
Nice.
Subject of this email is Law Hub sure wants to know a lot about me.
Exclamation point. Interesting. Okay. Hello, Eve here again. Law Hub sure wants to know a lot about me. I understand how this is for their benefit and the school's benefit. I'm less sure if it benefits me to be totally forthcoming. I'm trans, and I was surprised when creating my Law Hub account that it asked me straight up, do you consider yourself transgender? I'm used to forums asking for information about race and gender, but never before have I been asked to disclose this aspect of my identity by an institution that was not explicitly oriented around it. I'm deeply concerned that disclosing this information could hurt me. Even aside from the ongoing efforts from the White House, why would I want to expose myself to potential prejudice by putting myself on one side of an extremely controversial issue? My question ultimately is this. I can think of 1,000 ways in which disclosing my identity could hurt me, but is there any reason to think it could help me? If not, I see no reason why I ought to be candid about this. Warmest regards, Eve. I feel like Eve has already answered her own question. I'm not sure if you have other thoughts.
Well, we've been getting more and more emails like this, Nate. I think it's a combination of people concerned about messaging around DEI paired with our advice that we don't want you to just give away information for free, right?
Right.
And so people have been emailing in with a variety of personal experiences related to this. But I agree with you. I think Eve does have kind of her answer here. Any information that you give gives them a reason and an opportunity to look and say, is this is this information something that could cause us issues that we want to deal with? And you're right, the political environment is such that there are concerns right now. And so I have been in favor with it's advice I first heard when I was applying, like limit your information, put what you need to know, and I've agreed with you, and it worked well for me.
Optional questions are optional. And so, it sounds like, for one, you don't want to share this. It makes you
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. That's reason enough already not to answer an optional question. I agree with you that it doesn't seem likely that right now schools are going to be aggressively pursuing DEI,
Uh-huh.
and they might actually be trying to avoid any appearance of pursuing DEI given the current climate. I think 5 years ago, it might have unequivocally helped you to identify as LGBTA plus, whatever it is. These things, like, we used to be, I guess, more progressive before the pandemic, before the second Trump administration. And it would have been like, yeah, schools might have given you a little feather in your cap for, hey, we want diverse perspectives on our
Uh-huh.
campus. But now we do have the administrative branch of the government like aggressively trying to root out DEI stuff. And I can see why at a lot of schools, I think that their response is going to be more like, we don't even want to hear about it.
Right, right. I'm willing. The most generous case is that in most places this isn't going to affect you at all.
And especially because this is Law Hub, and I don't think I don't think LSAC is sharing this information with anybody. I think that this is purely for their own like stats and record keeping. I would be shocked if this like goes into your public profile. Maybe I'm wrong
I
about that,
I
but
started pulling. Nate, I'll finish this research because I started and I waited. I tried to get a response from LSAC. I never got one because we were talking about self-selecting into the like send my stuff out to other
yeah,
schools. I don't know
does
when
this go
information is
out?
sent.
Yeah, it does seem, it seems fraught. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, not only that, but I can see people just like actually discriminate against you because you're transgender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like leave the Trump administration out of it, leave the anti-DEI stuff out of it. What if it comes through on your application and somebody at some school doesn't like trans people? Then in that case, it would definitely hurt you. So yeah, sounds like you don't want to share this information. I just would not answer.
Yeah, I think most questions of this nature these days have a prefer not to answer. Um, just select it. I
Yeah, leave
don't
it
see the
blank.
upside,
Yeah.
and you've clearly identified the downside personally. So I think that's and this goes lots of subjects, right? They ask about parents info. They ask about income. Like, you don't have to share any of that information. Being forthcoming about all that information does not get you points.
Yeah. And even on required questions, there are many different ways that you could answer required questions.
Yeah.
And lawyers need to be savvy about the way they present information. You choose how to respond to questions.
Yep.
So
Yep.
one response is don't respond at all. If it's required, okay, there's a range of different, you get to choose the words that you use when you answer any question. So,
Mm-hmm.
as a broad proposition, optional questions are optional, and even mandatory questions, they just don't require you to like spill fully. Like, you always get to kind of massage it a little bit, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you should be putting your best foot forward to the best of your ability. You can't lie.
Right.
You can't omit facts that they are clearly asking you about. But you also don't have to like overly editorialize about things. You can just be mindful, I guess, about the way you respond. Last thing I want to say is just congratulations, Eve. Deciding to wait another cycle, that's never not going to help you.
Yep.
You're PTing in the 170s. It sounds like it's probably about the right time to start taking the official test. When you do, I hope you just take it. You should have at least 2 tests scheduled and then take it a third, fourth, fifth time if necessary. And it's great if you take all 5 of them in a row if necessary,
Yep.
as long as you're ready, which it sure seems like you are if you're PTing in the 170s. Good luck, Eve. Keep us posted.
Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.